What's up, guys? This is Eric. Today I'm going to go through my pedal board, walk through all the pedals, why I chose what I chose, and talk about how you can make your own budget pedal board. You don't have to break the bank to make a nice pedal board that you can use for worship at your church. I'm also going to talk about why I chose the pedals I chose and why I didn't choose what I did choose. And to go into that, I'm going to kind of have a discussion about my philosophy of worship music at churches in general. So I'm going to have the timestamps. So if you want to skip to either the board walkthrough or the discussion, you can do that. Let's do this. Whoa, and all of a sudden I'm on my phone with a lot worse audio quality. Apologies in advance. So here's my board. First thing you'll probably notice about it is that it's much smaller than your typical worship pedal board. There's not any $500 Strymon guitar pedals. There's not 20 different overdrives stacked on top of each other. But for the kind of worship music that I play, I think it's very effective. And also, you might notice that this board is not 100% budget. I know I did put budget in the title, but as I walk through it, I will make sure to talk to you guys about your budget options for all of these. Alright, so first link in the chain, always the most important. I have my tuner. I have the Boss Chromatic tuner. Obviously, there's a lot of cheaper tuners out there. Or you could go with the tuners on the neck, but I've never really liked those. I've always liked the capability to shut off with the tuner when I'm tuning or something, to not have to remember to shut off the sound and then tune during a prayer or something. That's always been helpful to me in making sure that my guitar sounds in tune and ready to go. Next up on the chain, we got the Calvin compressor. Now, in my mind, if you want a true budget build, some guitarists swear by their compressors, but if I had to pick one pedal to go, it would probably be this one, despite the fact that I love John Calvin, and this is by far my favorite compressor. Shout out to Westminster Effects. If your church has a decent sound system, there should be some compression in the sound anyway. I actually, once when I was leading worship, I actually brought a compressor pedal, and they told me to turn it off because it was actually compressing my sound too much. So, and they preferred to use their own compression. So this isn't essential for a budget kit. I know some people will swear by their compressors, but not the most important thing in the world, in my opinion. Hey, really quick, if you do really want a compressor and you're on a budget, I would recommend the Behringer compressor sustainer. I did use that for a while before I got my Calvin compressor and loved it, and it did exactly what I needed it to do. Alright, now back to your regularly scheduled board walkthrough. Next up we have the distortion, and I have the Screamin' Blues from Digitech. Yeah, if you can find it, it's fairly cheap, but it is discontinued, so... but honestly, before this, I just had the simple Boss distortion, and that served me just fine. I just love the Screamin' Blues. I love this Digitech line in general. Such creative names on their pedals. It looks really cool. Some people really love to have a first and a second drive, and honestly, I experimented with that for a little bit, but all too often it would be either I would have both of them on, or I would have neither of them on. So I personally, in my style, could not justify a second drive pedal in this one. Next we have volume control. This guy goes up and down and can control the volume. If you're worried about budget, there are cheaper options. Ernie Ball makes several. I love the Boss feel. It feels so solid, so sturdy. It's not going to break on you. I've had this for years and it's still going strong. I love it for swells, for fading in, for fading out. Alright, reverb and delay. Both are very important in that worship music sound. Although, if you're going for a budget, if your church has an amp, or if you have your own amp, it usually has a reverb setting. This is the Electro Harmonics Canyon, which is a reverb and delay together. So I always have both of those on together. One thing that I do wish I had, probably my first pedal I would add, is a delay where you can set the BPM, just because we use tracks or click tracks at our church for worship, but it's not 100% necessary. Because when I use it, sometimes I play guitar in our high school worship band. We don't have any tracks or clicks for that, so no sense setting BPMs because we're all over the place anyway.
I should mention, in the interest of budget pedal boards, that everyone's favorite budget brand, Behringer, does make a delay pedal. I tried it for a while, but honestly, I did not like it. I just thought I would throw it out there. It's about $30 in case you really wanted a delay and you were on a budget.
So that's kind of the board. Now you may be wondering how I get by with so few, and that's why I wanted to touch a little bit on the philosophy of worship that I have. So let's return to the computer for a quick second.
And all of a sudden I'm back in a different location with a different shirt on. That is the power of a finger covering the camera, my friends. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about my philosophy on worship. So if you only came for the pedal board, feel free to stop watching, but I did want to talk a little bit about, I don't have very many pedals, and most of the time when I see people who have many pedals, are ones that are, to the exact BPM, the 50 types of reverb, the 20 different gain stages. What they're trying to do, I've found, is match the original song as much as possible, which is not a bad thing. And I actually have people I play with on my worship team at church who do that. So it's not that that's a bad thing at all. I want to say my own philosophy of worship and music in general is to not try and match the original music of the song, but to really make the song your own and play it with your own feeling. Put your own musicianship and style into the song. Obviously, you do want to play along with all the other musicians, but as much as you can to put your own style into it, which luckily other people on our worship team agree with, and is how I'm able to get away with not playing as many pedals, not two different gain stages for different parts of a song, no exact delay to the beat. So I just wanted to say, worship for me is about worshiping God. Our God is so great and deserves all of our praise that if we focus too much on the music and making it sound good, then that can put the focus on us as musicians and the focus on the music and take away focus from God. And obviously, if you're playing bad, that can take the focus away from God too. So that's not good either. But I want to see God glorified in my music. And that should be all our attitudes towards worship music. So that's what I just wanted to leave you guys with, is that thought that honestly, worship music is not about us. It's about glorifying God no matter what gear we use, no matter what we have, just bringing our hearts to Him and letting His Spirit flow through us to honor and glorify Him in our lives as well as our music. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful. All right, peace.